If it comes up to growing yourself with the spiral dynamics model, the transition phases between the stages are most powerful, because if you're right into a stage, if you're, for example, deeply orange, you can't speed up this process. You just have to experience that over years and be mindful about that. But if it comes down to a transition phase, it really helps people a lot, because they tend to be in a deep crisis. Yes, maybe they even become depressed. For example, you're orange for 30 years and at some point you realize, oh, and at this point you think, orange is bullshit. It's all about green. Then it can be very helpful to scaffold this person through the process, understand what is happening right here, what kind of worlds are colliding, and it helps to maybe give you a little bit more peace of mind and understand your process in general. Now, you can still use, in general, the spiral dynamics model to grow yourself, not as much as you think probably, because in general it just takes time and it's all about experiences. But some knowledge about it might help you to make the right moves and maybe expose yourself to the right experiences at the right time. Now, first of all, I would like to go with you through the general process of growing. This is the factor number one, the point number one I want to talk with you, to just be aware of what is coming next and maybe also see where you are right now. And then the second point is practical, really practical steps, what you can do to grow yourself. And lastly, I would like to talk about two examples, the examples of growing from blue to orange and from orange to green, because that's where most people are right now. And I would like to help you and understand this transition. Now, let's start with the general growth process. So let's imagine a person is right now in orange, deeply orange, and he wants to become green, right? So in the very beginning, he's at the pre-entry stage. So he's still satisfied with orange, that's fine. Maybe he's even stigmatizing green and he's or she's saying all those hippies are stupid and weird. But then at some point, the entry stage, the entry phase starts. So the person kind of starts to tap into the next phase. The main weight is still on the one food. I'm not native, I don't know. But it's still the main weight is in the orange paradigm. So if something happens, a stressful event is coming up, or your business, for example, starts to experience some problems, you can still easily go back into orange and say, okay, I'm all about orange and now I'm going to work for my business and that's my life purpose, right? And at this point, it's even very helpful to assure this person, if you're a coach, for example, or talking with somebody experiencing that, ensure them that they can always go back to orange and they can always take this being effective and efficient and work hard and being successful with them. It's not a problem, right? So they need this security at this point. Now, at some point, they start to move the weight a little bit more in this direction and they are able to go into green. Now, a lot of people at this stage, when they transitioned, they start to have negative feelings towards the old one. They kind of reject orange. Oh, money is bad. We don't need this orange success thing. That's not life. And that's okay at this point. Sometimes it even helps to integrate green properly if you totally focus on green and reject orange. But within this development, the next stage, you actually start to embrace orange again and say, okay, green is cool, but now I also understand orange properly and orange is fine too. And maybe I can take the best out of both worlds. That's a pretty nice stage, I think. Now, at some point, you're really solidly green. You have green friends. You don't have so many orange friends anymore. You're really solidly in there, but at some point, you feel stuck. It's different, in the beginning it felt like a new world is opening, it's amazing, you feel so energized, you start eating healthy, you start meditating, maybe you start trying psychedelics, and that's amazing. But now you feel kind of stuck. You kind of see the limitations, you look around your green friends and see limitations here and there, and maybe you start to experiencing a new crisis. And then the circle, of course, starts again. You're stage green, crisis is happening, and you start tap into yellow, and something new happens. So this is the general process. Now, I would like to share 5 practical action steps that you can undertake to grow yourself. Point number 1 is contemplation. And here I mean being open-minded and also put yourself out to those important experiences that you need to make, and then contemplate about that. Not just merely sit in your room. I know Buddha, he was just meditating, but you don't need to do that. It can be very helpful to make a lot of experiences, specific experiences at your stage, maybe even some experiences which are slightly above the stage you are right now, and then contemplate about that. It's really key. Some people think, now what is contemplation? I just sit here, what should I think about? I don't know what you mean. But this will just arise out of your experiences, what's happening in life, what kind of people are surrounding you, and start to deeply contemplate that. Now here in complementary approach, the second one is meditation. Why? I'm not an expert in meditation, but what I experienced is that I can detach much better and I can think in a much clearer way. And meditation helps me to gain perspective. So it kind of boosts my contemplation. The third point is psychedelics. Now with psychedelics, I don't mean you just randomly take some substances. I'm not saying this. I'm also not encouraging you to take psychedelics illegally. But if you're taking them legally, then I want you to do your research. What substance, how much, what is the context? Is it the right time in your life? Are there people with you or not? What do you want to think about? What do you want to contemplate about? Those are key factors, not just randomly take something. Also start slow. Also, psychedelics, they don't help you at all if you're stage orange or lower. So if you're at the end of stage orange, we learned in the previous episodes, the late stage of orange, you start to reflect on yourself and start to improve yourself. This is when some easy psychedelics might help you and might help you to transition into green. But psychedelics are not always helpful. You know, if you're stage blue taking psychedelics, you go crazy because you don't understand what is going on here. This paradigm, what is about to shift, you can't put this in perspective. You just think you're going crazy. So take this carefully and not just take them in some stupid environment or aspect in your life. Be responsible with that. Now we talked about contemplation, meditation, psychedelics, reading books, also really key. Not just the books in your paradigm. For example, if you're stage orange, you love to read books about success and how to make money and be more efficient and productive, and that's cool. Read those, it's important, but also read some books slightly above you. You know, maybe read a little bit greenish books, maybe read a book about meditation, I don't know. But this deliberately exposing yourself to other things in life might grow you. And this is actually a complementary aspect, not only reading those books, but also exposing yourself to the higher stage, right? So, for example, make friends who are a little bit higher in the spiral dynamic stage. If a child is born in nowadays society, it comes easy to them to grow until blue, orange, maybe even green. 2,000 years ago, it was kind of hard to grow that fast. Why? Because you as a person always adapt to society. You're the average of the 5 most important people in your life, right? So if you expose yourself specifically to those friends, to those books, it helps you growing. And lastly, traveling. Traveling is always a great experience. It really helps you to be open-minded. You experience, the first time when I actually lived in another country was in New Zealand. And one day I was waking up and I realized, wait, people in New Zealand, they totally wake up in a different state of mind than Germans do. It's just a totally different world. And this just opened up my mind to look at things from different perspectives. Because you're so much caught in this bubble of your culture. A fish doesn't realize that he is in water. He did not discover water properly. There was somebody else, but not the fish. You know? So traveling, talk to different people, and see different cultures and really dive into that culture. It doesn't need to be expensive. Couch surfing, backpacking, those are probably the best experiences because you really get in contact with the culture and with the people. Practical action steps. Take them, of course, with caution. This is not right for everybody at the right moment. And for example, when it comes down to reading books, maybe you're deeply orange right now, and the best way is to just read orange books right now. Just do that, nothing else. You know? But if you realize something happens, maybe you can identify yourself kind of like tapping into green a little bit, for example. Now you know what is happening within you, and maybe you can boost this process by understanding what is happening and already going in this experience. Because a lot of people feel paralyzed through a large period of their time because they don't know what's going on. They just think, oh, this is weird. What is happening? And they still kind of reject the new because they're afraid. But now you know what's happening and you can embrace that much better and maybe grow much faster. And lastly, I would like to give you the examples. First of all, we talk about going from blue to orange. What is important here at the very beginning, because blue is all about order and stability and staying within the status quo and being in this comfort zone, is to tell yourself, or maybe if you're a coach, to make sure and let this person know that blue is okay. And you can always keep blue and still transition. You can still take some parts of it with you. It's fine. So pace this person and respect the old. That's what they need. You remember in the beginning when you said, oh, you're about to transition, you still have your main weight on the previous stage. And especially for blue, but also for the other stages, it's really important to pace, to do some pacing, say, hey, this stage is okay. You know, you can still go back to the old one if you don't feel like, right? And then, if you want to help a person to transition to stage orange or help yourself, it's all about getting the good parts of the next stage. So for example, promote thinking on your own. If you're a boss of somebody, promote that he's thinking more on his own. Maybe he has to do some group work. Maybe you give him more responsibility. Also respect if he's doing some more performance. Give him more money if his performance better. Promote competition and reduce security. This puts this person out of the comfort zone and experiences a totally new paradigm. And this might help them to just experiencing this newer world. What I want to say quickly here is that when I talk about transitioning faster and growing yourself faster, you're probably overestimating how much you can do. Because it still takes the experience. Experience is the key term here. And reflection. And you can't just boost a personal growth within weeks. No, this still takes years. You know? It's just some slight nuances you can take here. But you will also quickly see, if you try to promote the growth of others, it will happen very badly. Only if they come to you and you realize, okay, there's really a willingness to change, then you can promote that. Otherwise, they will even be more reactive and will demonize the next stage even more. So be very careful with that. Okay, just mentioned a few examples here from blue to orange. Let's go to orange to green. Well, if you're at this level, since the person is still in stage orange, you can come up with scientific evidence. There's a lot of scientific research done about the green stage, about how community and sharing and loving helps, how humanity is more made for cooperation and less for competition. There's also research done about mystical experiences, about after-death experiences, maybe even the double slit experiment might be something that opens somebody's mind and think, oh, maybe there's more to what I thought so far is correct. In general, promote communication and promote this person to learn to put emotions into words. Or probably you're promoting your own growth. Try to put your emotions into thoughts. Maybe use a scale from 1 to 10. How much angry do I feel right now? How much respected do I feel right now? Really contemplate about your own emotions and try to differentiate between different emotions. This will help you to dive more into stage green. And lastly, meditation. We said that before, but especially if you go into green, you experience often meditation. Orange people also meditate because they want to be more effective and efficient. Blue people can also meditate. But I found that especially if you transition to stage green, it really helps you because you look inside what is happening within you. And this is what stage green is all about, right? Now, the key terms here are again experiencing, actually making experiences. Just learning about spiral dynamics is usually not helping you grow a lot. Mostly not at all. Like, you can broaden your mind, that's cool, and it will help you a little bit, yes, but it's all about making those experiences and then reflect on that. That's such that you can connect that to the spiral dynamics model. You can connect that to the straight mind model. So generating and setting goals is more about experiencing, and then self-knowledge and recovering is more about taking your time and reflecting. Those are the two key things you got to play with. Also, I want to leave a link in the description box where I talked about practical action steps according to Abraham Maslow, how to self-actualize, because there are, of course, some parallels to the model of Abraham Maslow and the pyramid of needs to the spiral dynamics model. So think about that and actually act on it. Do those practical action steps over years. Don't expect to immediately that you're growing and you realize, oh, now I'm stage orange, now I'm stage green, and now I'm stage yellow. That was quick. No, it takes time. I wish you good luck with that, and I really challenge you to take action.